Mankind evolved from hunting-gathering societies to agricultural societies. The invention of agriculture led to far-reaching changes in human societies. One important result was the emergence of cities and civilizations. Today, we will talk about the birth of one such civilization, namely the Harappan civilization. Good morning, this is Dr. Hansa Das with you, and I welcome you to my channel History with Hansa. In today's video, we will talk about the terminology, origin, antecedents of the Harappan civilization, and then we will talk about some important sites of the Harappan civilization. Now, when we use the term Harappan civilization, we are referring to a large number of cities, towns, and villages which flourished in the 3rd millennium BC. And these cities and villages had formed a network of interaction over a large geographical space. Before we begin to study the details of the Harappan civilization, we need to know how this discovery began. Now, until the 1920s, for a very long time, until the 1920s, our study of ancient Indian history normally began with the advent of the Aryans because we had no information to reconstruct the history of India before that. But the discovery of the Harappan civilization through the excavations carried out in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro altogether changed our perception of Indian history. These excavations pushed back the starting point of the study of Indian history from the Vedic age to that of the Harappan civilization. And contrary to the prior opinion held by historians that cities and civilizations emerged only around the 6th century BC, now in the 1920s, these cities were discovered which dated back to about 2500 BCE. Let us see how this discovery began. The earliest recorded reference to the civilization is given by Charles Mason, an Englishman, who visited the site at Harappa in 1826 and wrote about a ruinous brick castle. Then Alexander Burns, 1831, Alexander Burns visited this site in 1831 and he saw there a ruined citadel on the riverside of the town. Then in 1875, Alexander Cunningham, a famous archaeologist, he discovered strange and unidentified seals in the neighborhood of Harappa. Now, his was the first archaeological report on a settlement of the Harappan civilization, but none of these men could guess the true antiquity of the city. It was not until 1921 when preliminary trial diggings at Harappa began by the Aram Sahni and in 1922 at Mohenjo-daro by R.D. Banerjee, and they yielded identical finds, uh, including the exotic seals, that the potential of the sites came to be realized and the elements of a buried civilization were identified. Then in 1924, John Marshall announced in the famous Illustrated London News the discovery of a new civilization which was comparable in antiquity to the civilizations of Egypt and Mesopotamia. Since the discoveries at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, sustained archaeological fieldwork and large-scale excavations have been conducted at various sites in India and Pakistan, and further excavations were continued after R.D. Banerjee by K.N. Dixit from 1925 to 1929 and later on by N.G. Majumdar 1929 and later on. Still later, several foreign teams, including the one headed by E. Mackay, conducted further excavations. R.E.M. Wheeler conducted large-scale excavations in the Harappa site around 1946 AD. These excavations of the pre-independence and pre-partition period brought to light important antiquities of the Harappan culture at various sites where bronze was used. In the post-independence period, archaeologists from both India and Pakistan excavated the Harappan and connected sites. We could mention the names of Suraj Bhan, M.K. Dhavalikar, J.P. Joshi, B.B. Lal, S.R. Rao, B.K. Thapar, R.S. Bisht, and others who worked in Gujarat, Haryana, and Rajasthan. And then American, British, French, and Italian archaeologists also worked. at several sites including Harappa. Now we come to the terminology. Now when we talk about the terminology, this civilization has been variously termed as the Indus civilization or the Harappan civilization or the Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Now, how do we get these names? Let us first talk about these things. So, first we talk of the terminology being used, which is Indus civilization. Now, because Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are both located in the Indus Valley, Harappa in the upper Indus Valley and Mohenjo-daro in the lower, and because no site of the civilization was then known to exist outside the Indus Valley, so the civilization came to be called the Indus civilization. But the present extent of the civilization includes areas far beyond the Indus River Valley, and number-wise, the most significant cluster of sites occurs in the Cholistan section of the Hakra Plain in Pakistan. So that is how it got the name Indus civilization. But then we came to know that beyond the Indus River Valley, also several sites of the civilization were found. Then we come to the second terminology that is attributed to the civilization. It is called Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Now, as the Hakra has been identified with the Saraswati river mentioned in the earliest Indian literary tradition, some scholars have begun to call it Indus Saraswati civilization. So we have the term Indus Hakra or Sindhu Saraswati. Now, although this term includes what is perhaps the core area of this civilization, this in no way reflects its vast extent, covering such areas as Balochistan, Gujarat, and a part of the Ganga Yamuna Doab. And finally, the third terminology given to this civilization is Harappan civilization, which is perhaps the most logical term because it is based on the accepted model of naming archaeological cultures after the names of the sites was discovered or identified. So since Harappa was the type site of the civilization, that is, Harappa was the first site to be discovered, so it has been called the Harappan civilization. Now we move on to the chronology of the Harappan civilization. Now, on the basis of the findings of the archaeologists and also supported by the very authentic radiocarbon dating, we have accepted the following chronology of Harappan culture. So, it has been divided into three phases: the early Harappan period, the mature Harappan period, and the late Harappan period. Early Harappan period is from 3300 to 2600 BCE. Mature Harappan from 2600 to 1900 BCE, and late Harappan is from 1900 to 1300 BCE. This is the most commonly accepted chronology of the Harappan civilization. However, some dates differ here and there. Okay, so now we come to the next part of the video, which is about important sites. And when we are talking about the important sites, that is important to mention here that we are talking about the mature Harappan period. The mature Harappan period, which is from 1900 onwards. Now, we will talk about Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Lothal, Banavali, Chanudaro, Dholavira, Rakhigadi, Kodiji, Surkodda, Amri, Rangpur, Rojti, Ropar, Alamgirpur, and Sutka. Now, the extent of the sites, which site lies to the extreme north, south, east, and west, that also has to be considered. So, to the extreme north, we have Manda. Extreme south, that is the site of Daimabad. Extreme east, it is Alamgirpur, and extreme west, it is Sutka Jendor. Now, this is a map of the Indus Valley civilization of the mature phase, that is from 2600 to 1900 BCE, where you can locate a number of where you can locate the sites which I have already mentioned: Harappa, Kalibangan, Banavali, Rakhigadi, Dholavira. You can pause the video and for a little time you can have a look at the map and understand the map and the various locations of the sites. Now we begin a description of the different sites of the Harappan civilization. First of all, we begin with Harappa, which is the type site of the civilization, as I have already said. Now, Harappa was the earliest site to be excavated. As I have already mentioned, it was excavated in 1921 by Dairam Sahni. And the main mounds of Harappa are situated on a dry bed of the river Ravi in the Punjab, Pakistan. When we talk about the town planning of Harappa, Harappa had its own citadel or acropolis, and below the citadel lay a lower town containing brick houses. Then the grid system was followed in the arrangement of the houses. Wells and drains were rare at Harappa when compared to Mohenjo-daro. Then we have a huge granary which has been discovered to the north of the citadel in Harappa. Another important discovery is at Harappa is the workmen's quarters, which comprises 14 small dingy houses. And then we also have the remains of a well-preserved cemetery in which the mortal remains of at least a section of the Indus people who were buried have been found. And from these, it can be inferred that the Harappans had definitely had a sound knowledge of town planning. Now, the excavations at Harappa have also yielded a good number of artifacts. A good number of pottery has been obtained from all the stratified layers. Some of them are painted, and pots of different shapes have been unearthed. A large number of animal bones, like the bone remains of the bull, dog, cat, tamed goat, etc., have been unearthed. And also, specifically, a copper specimen of bullock cart has been found at Harappa. Other finds include hoards of copper objects, stone and carnelian beads, jewelry made of precious and semi-precious stones, etc. So this was Harappa, the type site of the civilization. We next come to Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro is on the right bank of the Indus in Sindh, Pakistan. Mohenjo-daro literally it was excavated in 1922 by R.D. Banerjee, and it literally means mound of the dead. Uh, why is it called the mound of the dead? The reason is that this city was built some 5,000 years ago, and it was successively destroyed and rebuilt no less than 7 times. The chief agency of destruction was probably inundation of the Indus, and every time it was destroyed, a new city rose upon its ruins after some time, and not immediately. So it has been called the Mound of the Dead. Now, like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro also had a citadel or acropolis, which was probably occupied by the ruling class. The citadel was one long artificial platform, and below the citadel lay the city proper, containing brick houses, which were inhabited by the common people. The grid system was followed as in Harappa in the arrangement of houses also, and the city was divided into large rectangular or square blocks by main streets. Then there were paved courtyards, doors made of wood, public wells, etc. Uh, then we talk about an excellent drainage system. The drainage system was very well developed, and almost all houses uh, had a very had an excellent kind of a drainage system where they were provided with drains which opened into the street drains, which in turn opened into great culverts draining into the river. And the street drains were covered with burnt bricks or stone slabs, etc. Now, this was the drainage system. Next, we come to a particular building which has been identified as a collegiate building. Now, it might have been used to house a high official or the high priest or a college of priests. This has been identified as the collegiate building. Now, the most imposing structure found here is the Great Bath, which was about 55 meters long and 33 meters wide. And uh, this pool was fed by a well situated in one of the adjoining rooms. Now, well burnt bricks of good quality made of alluvial clay were also used for construction of houses, wells, etc. Then we have bricks were usually rectangular in shape, and then we have pottery of black and red ware, all black ware, brown slipped ware. Now, a very important discovery made here uh, is the bronze dancing girl, which is the most significant finding of the site of Harappa. Then we also have a number of seals depicting the unicorn, and apart from that, we have burial stones and pots, and then we also have a statue of an animal resembling a horse and other noteworthy discoveries. Then we come to the next site, which is Kalibangan. Kalibangan is situated in the district of Ganganagar in Rajasthan on the bank of the now dry course of the Ghaggar River, and it was excavated between 1960 and 1968 by B.V. Lal and B.K. Thapar, and it indicates the existence of a massive fort wall, which probably served as part of the main citadel of the city. Then, when we talk about the pottery of Kalibangan, uh, the pottery was mostly of the typical Harappa black and red ware. Then we also have evidence of furrows. Furrows were discovered in Kalibangan, from which it can be gathered that lands were ploughed in Rajasthan in the Harappa phase. Now, whenever we are talking about the sites of Harappan civilization, we are particularly talking about the pottery and the kind of pottery that was present there. Now, the next one is Lothal. Lothal, it is a site situated in Gujarat at the head of the Gulf of Cambe, excavated by S.R. Rao. It is a large site with several mounds, and the most important structure discovered here is the dockyard, which is built with brick, and that shows that Lothal was an important port of entry into the area covered by the Harappan civilization. Now, the other important finding at Lothal is dyeing vats, which indicates that cotton was known to the people. Then we have a large cemetery, which is very large in structure and which has buried skeletal remains which are almost similar to the finds at Harappa. Then the artifacts recovered from the site include a large amount of pottery of the Harappa type, and in Lothal the pottery type is red slipped ware and chocolate slipped ware. Cotton fabric, as I've said, is another notable find, and then we have also found rice grains embedded in a sherd. Next we come to Banavali. Banavali is in the Hisar district of Haryana. Remains of streets and drains have been found at Banavali, and a good quality of barley has been discovered at Banavali, and a good amount of pottery also forms part of the Banavali finds. Okay, now the next one is Chanhudaro. Chanhudaro is a small hamlet on the eastern bank of the Indus River, first discovered by N.G. Majumdar. Now, three large mounds have been found here, and the site may have been enclosed by a brick or stone fortification. The houses and streets and even the drains closely resemble those of Mohenjo-daro, and this is the only site which had yielded curved bricks used for building water tanks, wells, etc. Then among the artifacts discovered was painted pottery. Seals representing interesting objects like trees, goat, etc. were found, which were made of terracotta, steatite, and ivory. Then Chanhudaro appears to have been a manufacturing center of toys. This is very important. Chanhudaro is one of the places which has been identified as the manufacturing center of toys. Now, the next important site we have is Dholavira. Now, Dholavira is it was excavated by R.S. Bisht in 1990, situated in Gujarat in the Ran of Kutch. Now, the most important feature of Dholavira is that unlike other cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, the city was divided not into two sections but into three sections. the citadel, the middle town, and the lower town. And it had imposing mud brick fortifications, and it was the mud brick fortifications were very imposing features of this period, and there was a uh, complex irrigation system, 2 kilometers long canal has been found there. Then we have evidence of bead making and shell working in Dholavira, and the pottery that was used in Dholavira was of the type of red, black on red painted pottery. Okay, so Dholavira also gives us the first example of stone architecture in the Harappan civilization. There are there are four carved stone pillars, which, as I said, constitute the first example of stone architecture belonging to the Harappan civilization. Then more than 100 seals and ceilings with the typical Harappa scripts have been recovered from this site. And the most outstanding feature of Dholavira excavations is a signboard of 10 large ideograms. Such a thing has not been found in any other Indus site. The next important site is Rakhi, which is situated in the Hisar district of Haryana, which has which was a well-planned city with evidences of paved roads, drainage system, large rainwater collection, storage system, etc. Jewelry made of terracotta, conch shells, semi-precious stones has been found. The pottery of Rakhi is similar to that of Kalibangan and Banavali, and a very significant find is a burial site which has been found with 11 skeletons with their heads in the north direction. And near the heads of these skeletons, utensils for everyday use were kept. Then a granary belonging to the mature Harappan phase has been found in this site, and this granary is made up of mud bricks. Now we have weights which have been found here, which are similar to weights found at many other Indus Valley sites, confirming the presence of standardized weight systems. Then we come to other smaller sites of the Harappan civilization. For example, we have Fort Diji, which is situated to the northwest of Amri on the left bank of the Indus. It has a massive defense wall, a fortified settlement, a charred blade industry, and here the pottery is wheel made, in which the floral motifs are the most important, particularly the six petal ones. The next one is Surkota, which is located in the district of Kutch in coastal Gujarat. It was also a flourishing urban center, and like other centers, it also comprised a citadel, that is the upper town, and residential area or lower town. The pottery in Surkota was of black and red ware with or without a fine slip. And the important discoveries we have made from Surkota are a large storage jar, an antimony rod, and we also have some fossil remains of a horse. Now, like Chanudaro, Surkota also seems to have been a toy manufacturing center. The next one is Amri, which is located on the bank of the Indus. We have discovered ditches, mud brick houses, stone houses, shopping complexes, etc. Then we also have the traces of drainage and platforms at Amri, and the pottery at Amri was particularly of brown ware, black ware, and ochre colored ware. Then Rangpur, which is situated in the Saurashtra region of Gujarat, mud bricks were used, baked bricks were used, and we find an evidence of fortification. Town might have been surrounded by a fort at Rangpur. Then, like other sites, a good drainage system, and then we have pottery of various types found at Rangpur. We also have terracotta figures of antelope and bull, and then we have some plant remains which show the cultivation of rice, millet, and possibly bajra. And then we come to Rojdi, which is located in the Saurashtra region of Gujarat, and the pottery of Rojdi resembles that of Rangpur. Particularly, we have the red ware, lustrous red ware, black and red ware, and white painted black and red ware were also known. Then we have Ropar, situated in the Punjab on the bank of the Satluj. Pottery again of different types. Copper objects have been found. One important thing about Ropar is that Ropar seems to have been destroyed by devastating fire towards the end of the Harappan period. Then we have Alamgirpur, which is situated in the heart of the Ganga Yamuna Doab near Meerut. potteries of different types. We have found plant fossils, we have found human and animal bones, and we have found copper tools. All right, the next one, the last one is Sutka Jindor, which is in southwestern Balochistan province of Pakistan. And again, it was divided into two sections. There was a twofold division of the township, the citadel and the lower city. Citadel was probably fortified with a wide wall, and then we have the lower city in which the commoners used to live. An important thing about Sutka Jindore is that it was supposed to have been a trade point between Harappa and Babylon. So this is a description of the important sites of Harappa, and in this video we have talked about the name, the terminology, the origin, the antecedents, the important sites of Harappan civilization. Hope this video works well for you, and hope uh, it has been informative for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.